Hey Groupsters, welcome back to the Car Boutiques Detailing channel, the return of the Super 7 Challenge. Now, about a year ago, we tested 7 waxes. This time we're going to be testing 7 glazes. So I am going to be subjecting these 7 glazes to 7 tests, and it'll be interesting to see what we find out. So cue the music. Hey Groupsters, before we crack on reviewing these 7 products, some of you may have sort of seen the title and thought, oh, glazes, haven't heard much about glazes. Now we hear a lot about compounds, polishes, waxes, ceramic coatings and sealants, and sometimes glazes get sort of forgotten about. And in my opinion, it's sort of like a bit of a secret in the detailing community, okay, but they're not talked about that much, all right? So what is a glaze? Now, essentially, a glaze is a product that has got micro refining oils, fillers, and leveling agents. So what does that mean? Professional detailers, cleaning enthusiasts, if they've got scratches and micro scratches on their car, will probably have the time, the inclination, and the equipment to machine polish or hand polish those micro scratches away. And essentially, what they are doing is they are using a mechanical process, okay, polishing to essentially strip off some clear coat to a level that is just below the deepest scratch, okay, and then all the scratches have gone. All right. Glazes operate in a slightly different way. There's no mechanical sort of compounding or polishing. All these are doing are using those refining oils, those fillers, them leveling agents to actually get in the little crevices, the scratches, if you sort of zoomed in on a microscopic level, all right, and they are going to leave the product in the actual indentations, the cuts in your clear coat. The resultant of that is your paint is then more level, and as we know, the majority of gloss or shine from your paintwork is a bit to do with all the chemicals and products you put on, but essentially it's how flat you can get that paintwork, all right? Because when you get that dull effect and you've got scratches, etc., the light comes in, it sort of gets fragmented and dissipated away, so it gives that dull effect. With a glaze, you're helping to level your paintwork so the light's coming in and reflecting right back, and that gives you reflection essentially, okay, and gives you all that gloss and good stuff. Now these are a temporary fix, all right? So some glazes, show glazes, you might get a week or two. More sort of glaze sealants, you might get months, etc. Some of these profess to be around about the 6 month, okay? So it's not a cheat, it's not a shortcut, it's just another tool that we can use, all right? So you haven't got the machinery, you haven't got the time, okay? You can do this do a car in about an hour, okay? You may wish to use a glaze to fill in them micro scratches, enhance the aesthetics, and then with some of these, you can put stuff on top. And I'm gonna go back to that big discussion, all right? So it's a good thing. Now, when we're going to talk about these in a bit, some of these are pure glazes, some of these are sealant glazes, some of these have got wax in. So you've really got to look at what you want to achieve. I'm very much keep things dedicated, so I will use a separate sealant, separate glaze, separate wax, okay? But once again, okay, it's all about personal choice. If you want to use something like, I don't know, just picking one at random, the stjarnagloss product, that is essentially their parlor sealant with fillers in. Okay, so you're 2 steps in one, all right? You can apply that longevity, that sealant aspect, but you can also use the fillers in this one to mask their micro scratches and increase the aesthetics. Some of the other ones, like I believe it's this one from killerwaxx. A few of these, okay, have got carnauba wax in as well, okay, so you're using that filler component, but you're also having adding another layer of protection, the wax, which potentially gives that warm wax effect that we're after. So you've really got to do your research, all right? These are quite fundamentally different, i.e. the Michelin King one is really a show glaze, suggests to me, haven't used it yet, but it might not have longevity. Okay, so essentially a glaze is a temporary filler of micro scratches to level the paint, increase the aesthetics, but do your research because lots of these, okay, have other stuff put in. Another factor, and we're going to discuss this later, is some of these you put on before a sealant, some of these you put after a sealant, some of these don't recommend you put anything on over it, some of them clearly recommend that you put a wax on, some of them say it's got to be clear paint, all cleaned, etc. Some don't. So you've really got to do your research, all right? And we're going to dig into these bits, okay, to give you choice. We're going to subject it to 7 tests, all right? The outcome, the winner, isn't really important, okay, because the winner might come low on, I don't know, ease of application, but a priority for you might be ease of application. So we're going to list the results of all the tests. You cherry pick, okay, the test or the results table as to what you're looking for, and you can make your own mind up. But it's a bit of fun. I know everyone watches these battle of the products and everything. They all want to see which outcomes which comes number one, okay. But take that with a pinch of salt. It's subjective. It's what I think, okay. And we usually get heated discussions on this, okay. But it's the way I evaluate these, and I hope you find it enjoyable. So there's going to be a lot of me talking, and I'll try and factor in some music and video stuff as well. So let's go and have a quick talk about the products, and we'll crack on. Okay, folks, we're going to have a quick look at these 7 products. Okay, so in this is going to be the order we're going to be doing the tests in. So when I sort of mask up the bonnet, number 1 is going to be the cloak, number 2 Auto Finesse, number 3 killerwaxx, number 4 Poor Boys, number 5 Chemical Guys, number 6 is going to be Monstershine, and number 7 is going to be stjarnagloss. Okay, so I'm just going to give a brief brief discussion on these 7. I'm going to provide links in the description, so go and have a look, okay, and dig into the sort of composition and the qualities of these products, because some of you will want a dedicated glaze, some of you may want that glaze and wax function, and some of you may want the glaze sealant function as well. So it really is down to you as to what you want for the products, as to potentially which one you're going to go for. Now, I'm a sort of dedicated glaze person, but it's going to be interesting for me to see how much extra you get from a glaze wax or a glaze sealant, and it may sway my decision as to what I look for in the future. So these reviews will be a bit of entertainment, and everyone wants to see what's number 1 at the end. Okay, it really does depend as to what you want for your products. It's an education piece and potentially give you choice because I'm doing the testing for you. Now, this is totally unbiased. This is not a paid promotion. I will be giving an honest, independent view on these. Clearly, it's subjective. My analysis of gloss and hydrophobics is my personal choice, okay? But the only way I can get around that is to get a sort of panel of 10 people in, and it's the weekend and everyone's got a life unlike me, because I do this. How sad am I? Okay, just joking. Absolutely love doing this for you guys. Okay, so we're gonna have a quick look at them. First of all then, the Michelin King cloak. Okay, nicely packaged. Reviewed quite a few of their products. £13.49 for 500 millilitres. Quick description, it says it's a phenomenal filler polish, okay, and perfect for paint with wash related marring defects and cobwebbing, which is good. Now this one says use cloak after your sealant but before a wax. Okay, so this is saying put your sealant down first, then use a glaze, then use a wax. So it suggests to me, because there's limited information as to what's in it, okay, this is a dedicated glaze. Because it's already talking about separate functions like sealants and waxes, it would suggest to me that this doesn't have a sealant or a wax function, it is purely a glaze. And they're saying to use it after the sealant but before the wax. And you'll notice they're all different. Okay, so that's the cloak, link in the description. Number 2 then, the Auto Finesse Ultra Glaze Paint Glaze. Now this was £12.95. There's different sort of milliliter amounts. Okay, when I come to testing, I'm going to divide the milliliters by the price, and that's where we'll sort of work out. I'm not going to say value, because value is a relationship between how much it costs and how well it performs. It's literally going to be a basic test. Okay, the first place is going to be the cheapest per milliliter. The last place is going to be the most expensive milliliter. It's just a test I'm factoring in. Okay, cost might not be of relevance to you, so you sort of pick the results of the 7 tests that suit what you want it to do. Okay, so Auto Finesse Ultra Paint Glaze. It's non-abrasive acrylic polymer enriched glaze to enhance paintwork and reduce the appearance of fine swirls. Ultra Glaze creates a deep, wet, glossy finish. It's got paint enhancers and talks about effortless buffing. All right, and doesn't really give any additional information as to what's in it. So I would suggest that one, okay, is also pretty much a dedicated glaze. Number 3 then, the killerwaxx Purple Glaze Cream Wax. Okay, wax suggests to me that it's going to be a sort of glaze stroke wax as well. Now I got the big one, but looking on the website, they're selling the 235 one at $14.99. So I'm going to base the value one on that. But a caveat on that, no matter where it comes, okay, if clay cloth companies sell that, do the bigger one, it's going to be cheaper, okay? But I'm trying to be fair, because some of you may wish to go out and buy that, and you're going to be, unless they start selling the bigger one, okay, you're going to be paying $14.99 for 235 millilitres, okay? So that's me being fair. There's no point in me sort of making a reference to price when it's not available, okay? So this one's it's 50% grade, 100% pure Brazilian Canorba. It's got colour enhancers, UV protectants, and other properties to fill swirl marks to leave a brilliant gloss wet look shine. Okay, and it talks about that wet look. So that one is definitely a glaze wax. Okay, and I've been using that one for quite a long time, as you can see, and I've got about 2 centimetres, just enough for the test. Okay, so interesting to see how the one I've been using traditionally comes out against the rest of them, okay, because I'm always looking, okay, for improvements and just having some fun trying some other stuff. So that's the killerwaxx one. Okay, Poor Boys World Black Hole. Done a lot of research on these glazes into which one I was going to pick. All right, a lot of people on quite a few forums talk about this one, so it had to be in the test really. £13.50. Easy off glaze for darker vehicles, and helps bring out the most of dark colours, hiding light swirls, scratches and paint imperfections. They do a one dedicated to white vehicles. I think it's white diamond. They've got a dedicated one for lighter colours, but a lot of people use this on both. I'm not sure I like the idea of having dedicated ones for different colours. I'd rather just have one that I can use on any colour, but that's just my personal preference, but we'll test that. Can be applied as often as needed and can be topped with waxes or sealants, or just left alone. Okay, so this can be left alone, but this one's, the description says waxes and sealants come after. So I would suggest with this one, they're saying put your glaze on first, then your sealant, and then your wax. Okay, so you can see how they all differ. And the top tip on that one really is try it out for yourself. All right, that really is all I can say. Loads of discussions: glaze before sealant, sealant before glaze. Can you put wax on top of a sealant, or can you put wax on top of a glaze? I'll come back to that right at the end, because I've got my own opinion, and that's based on a lot of testing that I've done. Okay, so that's the Poor Boys Black Hole. Next one then, very nice packaging on this one. This is the Chemical Guys EZ Cream Glaze Wax Acrylic Shine. Okay, so this one was £22. Paintwork glaze, which enhances a deep wet shine on vehicles. Self-leveling acrylic shine X technology, and then it goes on to, you can use it by hand or machine and all that kind of stuff. Talks about imparting gloss and everything. That's all the information I've got on this one. Okay, it says it's got self-leveling acrylic shine technology, so I'm presuming it's going to be full of resins, fillers. Okay, I'm guessing, because it doesn't say. And this one says works excellently on solid metallic and pearl coloured surfaces. Lock in the enhanced glow by topping up with your favourite Chemical Guys wax or sealant. So the Chemical Guys ones says glaze first, then sealant, then wax. All right, so different to some of the others that say sealant then glaze. They're saying glaze first. Okay, so that's Chemical Guys EZ Cream Glaze. Next one then is the monstershine Gloss Lock Sealer Glaze. This is the one that I put out. Let's find that 7th one. I will be honest, that one there was sent free. I've bought the rest of them. However, when I discussed this, they were more than happy. Okay, it sounds a bit weird. They were more than happy for me to pay. Okay, but I assured them, okay, that it's not going to affect the results. Whether companies send me stuff for free or not, okay, I am very, very, very conscious that people watch these reviews and potentially go and buy based on what I've done. Okay, so I owe it to you, in the spirit of honesty, being impartial, unbiased. Whether a product is free or I've gone out and bought it makes no difference whatsoever to the results. All right, and that is the fundamental basis of this group. All right, I'm not going to mention other ones, but some of them have got deals, ties, and get paid for reviews. In my opinion, that can but sway opinion psychologically. Okay, you know, if you're getting paid a lot of money, the potential effect of that is potentially for you to steer towards bigging it up. I don't do that, never will, okay, but thank you for monstershine for sending me that one. Lots of good sort of social media comments on this one as well, so interesting to see how that one gets on. That's me being honest. £13. A glossy show glaze that protects like a sealant, okay, made with carnauba wax, gloss enhancers, fillers, polymers, amazing filling ability as that dripping wet effect. Due to the nature of the hard wax and polymers we used, it also has the qualities you'd expect from those as well. So that one there suggests to me it's 3-in-1. Okay, it's got your filler, it's got sealing properties as well, and it's got wax content. Okay, so that is essentially a one-stop shop. I mean, so you can see how that one compares with the sort of glaze sealants and glaze waxes, or indeed the dedicated glazes on their own. So that's the Gloss Lock Sealer Glaze. The other one, okay, didn't print it off, is Glacier, okay, the protection glaze from Stjarnagloss. This one's around about £20. High gloss, long-lasting sealant glaze for the ultimate finish and protection. Right, we've tested Parlour, which is Stjarnagloss's sealant. Okay, this is essentially, okay, they're sealant on steroids. Okay, so this is a sealant glaze. So you're getting all that longevity, that protection of a sealant, but you're also getting the benefits of the glaze content to fill in micro scratches, that leveling. So this should enhance, okay, the appearance, but also give protection due to that sealant component as well. So that's a super quick run through. No, I'm talking fast. Lots to do on this test, okay, and we've only got this weekend to do it. So they're your 7 contenders for this one. We can now do the first sort of test, okay, which is going to be the price, okay. The next sort of video clip is going to be about the 7 tests we're going to be looking at, so I'll do that now. Okay, battle of the glazes, the Super 7. 7 products subjected to 7 tests, okay, and these are going to be the tests. Number 1 is going to be price. Not value, okay, price. And all I'm going to do is divide the amount I paid by the millilitres to work out a price per millilitre, and then we're going to rank them in order, okay, 1 through to 7. So that's test number 1. Monstershine and Auto Finesse, so joint first place, Monstershine and Auto Finesse at £2, 2.6 pence per millilitre. Second place was Mitchell and King at 2.7 pence per millilitre. Third place was Poor Boys at 2.92 pence per millilitre. Stjarnagloss 4 pence per millilitre. Chemical Guys 4.86 pence per millilitre. And sixth place was killerwaxx 6.37 pence per millilitre. Okay, so I mean, none of these products are expensive. They're between that sort of £12 and £20 mark. Okay, you've got to be aware that some products come from America and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so it's just part of the test. It's not a value test, it's not a worth test, it is merely giving you some data. So that's the results of test number 1. Number 2 is going to be ease of application. Okay, is it grabby? And looking at some of these, some are very liquid, some are thicker, more like creams. Okay, so is that going to be sort of adjust or influence my interpretation of ease of application? That's test number 2. Number 3 is going to be sort of hazing time. Quick looking at the descriptions, some say leave for 15 minutes, some just say do wait to haze, almost like a wax swipe test, okay, but time is a variable. If you're a professional detailer or time is of a premium, do you want to wait 15 minutes? So I'm going to factor that in as well, okay. Test number 4 is going to be ease of removal. Once it's sort of hazed, okay, and it's ready to come off, is it grabby? Does it come off with one swipe, or are you constantly reloading with fresh microfibers to take it all off? So that's an influential variable that you might be interested in. So that's test number 4. Okay, test number 5 is going to be the main one, really. Okay, these are glazes. The main focus on this one is going to be its filling properties. All right, I've got quite a heavily scratched bonnet to do this test on, and I want to be seeing how well it masks and fills in those micro scratches, because that essentially is what this test is all about. It's a glaze, it's a filler. All the other stuff, okay, is great. Okay, so that's test number 5. Test number 6 is going to be gloss, okay, and that will probably have a direct relationship to its filling capabilities. All right, what is the final aesthetic effect? Has it leveled it? Has it filled in all the micro scratches to the point whereby aesthetically the appearance is enhanced? That's number 6. I was struggling for number 7. I'm going to throw it in there. I'm going to do a hydrophobicity test as well. All right, it's not really that important, but I needed to think of a test number 7, and I was struggling. So, okay, I'm going to factor that in. We're going to do our normal check of beads, check of sheeting, all that kind of stuff, and that will give us our 7th test. 7 tests. Now, yes, I'm ultimately going to grade them all, okay, 1 to 7 at the end, but you can clearly see, okay, that the top 3 may have poor hydrophobics, but have still come top. All right, but if it's important for you when you're using a glaze to have hydrophobicity, you cherry pick the results tables that you want. Okay, so I know everyone wants that who came first, second and third, everything. That's the bit of fun, that's the bit of entertainment, okay, that's the bit that causes discussion, okay, but ultimately you decide what qualities, okay, you want from these, you will select the results table, okay, and that will probably influence your choice, but it's a bit of fun, okay, and I enjoy doing these battles, so that's probably it, okay. We're now going to mask up the bonnet, okay, and prep for testing. Okay guys, so we've got the Volvo back. This was the one we did the wax test on last week. Okay, I've stripped all the wax off. Okay, so it is clean bare paint. I've also used a pre-wax cleaner, IPA. I've basically zapped this with every chemical I have to strip off any sort of remaining wax on it. Done a hydrophobicity test and it's pretty much a 0. Okay, so we'll just have a quick look at what we're working for. All right, so you can see there's quite a lot of scratches. If I can get the angle of this right, there's loads and loads. I can see them loads of sort of micro scratches going up and circular, so I think that's going to be a combination of poor wash and drying. All right, but it's a really, really good test piece. Okay, so that's the bottom I'm going to be doing on. I'm going to tape it up. I'm going to tape it up into 8 sections, leaving 1 section with no glaze on at all. All right, and then we'll crack on with test number 2, okay, which is the ease of application. Okay, groupsters, that says all masked up. So number 1, Michelin King. Number 2, Auto Finesse. Number 3, killerwaxx. Number 4, Poor Boys. Number 5, Chemical Guys. Number 6, monstershine. Number 7, stjarnagloss. And no protection. Okay, so we're going to go on to test number 2, which is ease of application. Okay guys, before we start, okay, we're going to go through the ease of application. Like all products, make sure you give them a good shake up, okay, to mix all the product that might have separated. Now, sort of a top tip, okay, there's 2 ways of applying glazes. You can just do a quick glaze where you just sort of apply it, wait for it to haze, then buff off, okay, but if you've got deeper scratches, it's always a good idea to just spend a bit more time, maybe use a bit more product, okay, circular motions, back and forward, left and right, okay, and really, really work that product in. What you will then find, it's got a better chance of working its way into those deeper scratches because you've applied slightly more product, okay, there's more fillers. It may just give you the opportunity to mask some of those deeper scratches, okay. So I'm going to put this on fast mode. We're going to go through the application. I'll just show you on fast mode doing a few, okay, and then we'll give you the results for test number 2, which is ease of application. Okay guys, results of test number 2, ease of application. All were pretty easy to use, to be totally honest, okay, there's nuances between them, okay, but there was enough of difference for me to sort of grade them. So in joint first place was killerwaxx and stjarnagloss. Super easy, okay, there's resistance to all of them because, you know, these have got filling components and some of them are quite creamy, okay, so that you know you're applying a product, but in terms of ease, nice and easy, no issues whatsoever with any of them really. Okay, so first place killerwaxx and stjarnagloss in joint first place. Joint second place was Michelin King and Auto Finesse. Joint third place was Poor Boys and monstershine, and joint fourth place was Chemical Guys. Okay, so like I said, all pretty good. You're going to have no problems with any of them. Okay, but there were slight differences which enabled me to put them in this order. So that's the results of test number 2, ease of application. Okay, groupsters, results of test number 3, the haze removal time essentially. Keeping it nice and quick, in first place was Michelin King. It was under 2 minutes to Haze for me to do the swipe test, so Michelin King in first place. We've got a 3-way for second place. I could not sort of tell any difference really. Monstershine, Poor Boys and Auto Finesse ran about that 2 minute. Okay, so the swipe test was clear after 2 minutes for those three. In third place, essentially killerwaxx between 2 and 3 minutes. Fourth place, Joint, stjarnagloss and Chemical Guys. They were pushing into 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, now I will say the Chemical Guys one does say leave for 15 minutes. I did the swipe test after 3 or 4 minutes and it was clear. Okay, I did then leave the other half for 15 minutes and there was no differential between them. Okay, so if you were using it and choose to get that one, leave it for the 15 minutes because that's the testing they've done. Okay, but I found it passed the swipe test after between 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, so they're the results of test number 3, haze removal time. Okay guys, test number 4, ease of removal. Very difficult to differentiate these 7, and I've essentially grouped them into 2 groups. This is a joint, big cluster of joint first and joint second. So in first place was Monstershine, Poor Boys, Michelin King and killerwaxx. Literally one swipe, gone. Okay, I will say with when you're using glazes to use one cloth for removal and then get a clean one, a buffing towel, just to bring up the gloss. Okay, so Monstershine, Poor Boys, Michelin King and killerwaxx were joint first place, leaving in joint second place stjarnagloss, Chemical Guys and Auto Finesse. The reason why those 3 are in second place is because when I went over that first sort of pass, there was product left behind and I had to go back for a second pass. Very equal. Didn't have to do that with the first ones, therefore I could categorise joint first and joint second. Okay, so that's the results of test number 4, ease of removal. Okay folks, this is the tricky bit. Okay, now I'm going to go over and do my assessment of the filling. Okay, I've had a quick look. There's one that's definitely come last. Okay, I've done a post on Facebook a few hours to see what you can deduce from it, and it is difficult. Okay, but the good news is 6 have definitely filled, 1 hasn't. Okay, and I'll try and do my analysis. We'll give the results now, so let's go and have a look. Okay, so that was the one with nothing on it. Right, okay, so we're up to number 1 now. Just comparing, it's quite difficult. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm sort of doing this live because it is tricky. Now the comparison with the no protection one, you can straight away see the difference. So initial analysis, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 have all filled. 1, I can't see much of effect. It's added some gloss, which I'm going to assess a bit later. Okay, but okay, so everyone's interested in my opinion, I'm sure. Okay, so I am taking my time over this because I want to be honest. Okay, I'm going to go for I know you're waiting. I'm going to go for Monstershine. Monstershine and stjarnagloss are joint first. Poor Boys second. Killerwaxx and Auto Finesse, I can't differentiate between the 2, so they're going to be joint third. Chemical Guys fourth and Michelin King fifth. Okay, so be interesting to see if anyone's posted on Facebook, see what your guys think. The good thing is, 6 out of the 7, I can see a definite improvement in terms of masking. The Mitchell & King one, I don't know if I've got a dud one, but I cannot see any filling. It's enhanced the gloss. Okay, I'll get back to you on that one a bit later. Okay, but that's my analysis. Okay, so we're going to post all the results up. Okay, we'll go on to the gloss results now. Okay guys, so we've done the analysis on the gloss. Okay, so we've fired the torch, okay, inspection torch at all angles, okay, and it is quite close. It's quite easy to identify the less gloss ones, okay, but in the sort of top 4 or 5, okay, there's not much in it, but I've tried my hardest to differentiate. So, okay, what we have gone for is gloss test. Joint first place is killerwaxx and monstershine. Okay, the gloss just seems to be a bit more punchy. Joint second place is stjarnagloss and auto finesse. Okay, third place is Poor Boys. There wasn't much between it on the last 2, but Mitchell & King, as identified when we look at the filling, does have a gloss enhancement. Okay, so Mitchell & King is 4th, okay, and the Chemical Guys one is in 5th place. Okay, so it's quite difficult. Now I'm coming to the conclusion this is quite hard paint actually, and it is difficult. I appreciate it's difficult for you to see, okay, but I've spent probably about 20 minutes sort of formulating that list of written. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to leave this for about 8 or 9 hours before we come back and do the hydrophobicity test. Okay, I'm fully cognizant of the fact that there might still be some carriers. I'm going to let them carriers sort of fully vent off. Okay, so the product is stable on the paintwork, and then we're going to do the hydrophobicity test, which is just sort of the after one to make up that 7th. So I'm going to go chill out, and we're going to come back later on this evening. Okay, lovely people, test number 7, the hydrophobicity test. So we're going to look at beads, and then we're going to look at sort of sheeting and runoff, etc. So give everything a good spray. Let's take the camera off so you can have a little look as well. Okay, so Mitchell & King, good tall beads, which is nice. Auto finesse, there's a bit of hydrophobicity there, but they're a bit more irregularly shaped. Killerwaxx, yeah, very good, nice tall symmetrical beads, and as you can see, a lot of runoff there. The Poor Boys, struggling a bit there, I'll be honest. Onto the Chemical Guys. Yeah, good runoff already actually, and good sort of tall beads. Monstershine, smaller beads. Struggling a bit, and I'll just reattack stjarnagloss. Good tall beads and good runoff. Okay, so let's collate them results. Okay guys, the hydrophobicity test, we did the sheeting test as well. Okay, so I've sort of combined them, just trying to keep these videos as short as possible, and even this one's probably going to be about an hour. Okay, so test number 7, hydrophobicity, combining the beading and the sheeting. Joint first place, Mitchell & King. Okay, and stjarnagloss. Okay, really, really good tall beads, and the water just wanted to leave the surface. So Mitchell & King and stjarnagloss first place. Second place, killerwaxx. Third place, Chemical Guys. Fourth place, Auto Finesse. Fifth place, Monstershine, and 6th place, Poor Boys. Okay, so that's the result of test number 7. Okay, so I'm going to put up all the results of all 7 tests now with a bit of music, so you can sort of see them all sequentially. and then we're going to have I'm going to collate all the results, okay, and give a 1 to 7. Okay, now it does not mean that number 1 is the best. Okay, it just means it's got the least points. Okay, but like I said, it depends what you want. Like I say, it could be the case that number 1 doesn't have much hydrophobicity, and that's something you're looking for. So that's why I'm going to put the 7 tests up, and you cherry pick what qualities you're looking for a glaze. Okay, and then maybe that will steer you towards which one you want. Okay, and after we've done the roundup, sort of the leaderboard, I'm going to give you some my thoughts on glazes, maybe a few top tips, when you shouldn't be using them in terms of in combination with sealants and waxes and all that kind of stuff. So enjoy the music. We'll post the results now, and then we'll have a leaderboard discussion and see who came top of the board. Okay, groupsters, I've done the maths, I've added all the totals up. So we're going to have a 1st to 7th like we normally do, and that's based on where all these products came in the 7 tests, given their first, 2nd, right through to 7th positions. Now, I'll put this caveat out now, okay? The product that came first, the product that came second. That does not mean in terms of this test, they are the best glaze and the worst glaze, okay? And I'll explain after, because these results do not reflect what is the best glaze and which is the worst. They just are a numeric evaluation of where they've come and put in a pecking order in respect to those grades that they've got. All right, and like I've said right through this assessment, you need to go and identify what you want from your glaze, and then go to the relevant results table that you've already seen earlier on the video. Okay, because there's some of these that suggest they're good, but they're actually not very good at a glaze relative to our test results. So I'm just going to get on with it, and I'll explain afterwards. So, okay, in 6th position was Chemical Guys. Okay, that got 27 points altogether. Didn't have any first places, and was sort of in that 3rd, 4th, 5th position quite a lot of the time. Okay, did it mask the swirls? Yes, it is. Okay, but as an overall over the 7 tests that I chose, that's in 6th place, because there's obviously a joint bit at some point. So that's 6th place for the Chemical Guys. In 5th place was the Poor Boys. Okay, they got 20 points. Poor Boys came pretty well. It was just skewed right at the end by hydrophobicity. Okay, it picked up a 6th place. Had it not picked up that 6th place, it would have been a cracking glaze. Okay, and it is a very, very good glaze. And I'll come back to that as to how these positions distort the interpretation of how good a glaze they are. But on our points basis, okay, 5th position with 20 points. In 4th position with 17 points was the killerwaxx. Okay, with 17 points, that did really, really well. Okay, again, the only one that sort of let it down, okay, was the a bit grabby on application. Okay, but is that really consideration? It wasn't hard. It was just slightly more resistive than the rest of them. Okay, so killerwaxx in 4th place with 17 points. 3rd place, we've got a joint. Okay, Mitchell & King and Auto Finesse. So these two, Mitchell & King and Auto Finesse, 3rd place. Does that mean that one there, Mitchell & King, is the 3rd best glaze? No, it doesn't. I'll explain in a bit. Okay, in fact, I'll explain now. Mitchell & King did really, really well, okay, picking up low points. But then when it came to the filling and the gloss, they did not do very well at all. And I said I might have a dodgy one here because there was just no filling. So if you're saying, if we're interpreting, taking this as Mitchell & King came 3rd, okay, out of all these glazes, no, it didn't. Okay, as a glaze, it was, in fact, it came last on the glazes right at the end. Okay, so interpret these results accordingly. The Auto Finesse did pretty well. Okay, picked up a fourth on the hydrophobics, but was first, second, and third for pretty much all of them. Okay, which is good. It's good to see. I don't review many Auto Finesse, and this one impressed. Okay, so second place, stjarnagloss. Where are you? Stjarnagloss, with just 15 points. It picked up a fourth right at the start, slightly grabby, but then picked up three firsts, a couple of seconds, another fourth, so 15 points, so a good all-round performer. Okay, so it was really, really good. And in first place on 14 points was the monstershine. That got 14 points. So in the top three, it was split by 3. All right, so that is the result in terms of the numbers relative to the 7 tests. Right, before everyone runs off, okay, this was a test about glazes. This was a test about their ability to fill micro scratches, okay? So I'm ignoring that previous test that we've just done, and I'm going to come back to, okay, test number 5, the filling capabilities. And this is really, if you have viewed this right to the end, you are looking for a recommendation for a glaze in terms of filler. This is the sort of hierarchy you need to listen to. Okay, in first place, monstershine and stjarnagloss, fantastic filling capabilities. All right, even on this car, which it's hard work, this car, in terms of paint work. So first place, monstershine and stjarnagloss. Second was Poor Boys, okay, really, really good filler. Third place was joint killerwaxx and Auto Finesse, both really, really good as well. There wasn't much between those top 5. Chemical guys tailed off a bit, and like I keep saying, the Michelin King did not do any filling on this paint work in this condition. Okay, so we can't say that the Michelin King one is the third best. Okay, it clearly isn't in terms of what a glaze is all about. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So look at all the results, cherry pick what you want. Okay, if you want a glaze with hydrophobics, okay, get those 2 tables together, make your mind up and all that kind of stuff. But it's an interesting one, this. It is very, very difficult on some cars to distinguish, okay, make differences between them, and it was hard work. But I feel all the results relative to individual tests were open, honest, and fair. Okay, I'm personally ignoring them when we total up all the numbers. That sort of hierarchy 1 to 7. Okay, I'm not bothered about that. Okay, I'm going in. Why do I use a glaze? Filling. I'm going to go to the filling results and see which is the best one. If I'm looking at ease of application and hazing time, I'll go to those results tables, etc., etc. So that's it. Okay, make some comments, okay, on YouTube and Facebook. Express, top tips and all that kind of stuff. I've got a few tips I'm just going to finish with in a second. Okay, but in terms of results, okay, you've got all the information there. Evaluate those results how you will. Okay, but it's been fun. So I'm just going to finish off with a reset video. Okay, guys, bit of a wrap up. We've looked at all the glazes, we've compared them against various parameters, and we've got the information there, which is good. Now, right at the start, there was a discussion about what glazes are for. You get glaze sealants, glaze waxes, and all that kind of stuff. Just a finishing bit, really, as to when I personally use a glaze. All right, so because I'm keen on my detailing, if I have the option to machine polish, I will. Okay, that is my preferred, because it's a permanent thing. However, you can't just keep chipping away at clear coat. It will eventually run out, okay, and then you'll be down to bare paint, okay. And also, machine polishing takes a lot of time. There's a lot of prep. So a lot of the time, I use a glaze as a short-term solution to masking swirls for whatever reason. Now, that debate right at the start regarding sealant before glaze before sealant, all right, different manufacturers recommend different things. This is my personal opinion, and this is the way I do it. I would put a glaze down at first because I want those fillers to get into the cuts in the clear coat. I will then apply a sealant, but I'm fully aware that that sealant's longevity will probably suffer due to all the components and the oils that are in the glaze underneath it. And as we all know, a sealant will give you full longevity if it's on fresh, clean paint. So I'm aware of that, all right? My other rationale for that is the sealant will hopefully add to the longevity of the glaze, because traditionally a sealant has a higher longevity in the glaze, so it's sort of encapsulating it in. If then I want to put a wax on, I will put a wax over, but I will ensure that it's not a cleaner wax, okay, because I don't want the cleaner wax, okay, stripping off some of that sealant stroke glaze. That's my personal opinion. I'm fully cognizant of the fact that some people will put a sealant down first, as in how some of these manufacturers suggest, and then we'll put a glaze on and then a wax, all right? So that's a discussion piece. You'll make up your own mind, all right? And at the end of the day, some of these have got waxes. You don't have to worry about this, the wax bit. And some of these, in fact, I think it was the monstershine, basically got all three in. A couple of others are like the stjarnagloss is a sealant and a glaze. Okay, so you don't have to do them extra steps. You don't have to worry about which way shall I go. All right, have some fun. Try it out, have combinations of glazes, waxes and sealants, okay? And ultimately it's about what is the result, okay? What is the finish, okay, that you get? And a final thing, and this is, Andy, I'm leaving you as top tip, glazes, okay? If you take your car to a show or it's going to a wedding and you want it tip top, irrespective of what you've got on your car in terms of waxes and sealants and everything, slap a glaze on top of it. All right, if it's on top of a wax, the longevity of the glaze is going to just shoot down. You'll get days, maybe a week out of it, but it'll give a lovely, lovely wet look. Okay, it's just leveling that paint. Okay, short term. Okay, which will give you that nice shiny car if you need it. So that's a top tip as well. Quite a complicated discussion piece, glazes. I'm sure there'll be lots of conversations. Okay, but that's pretty much it. It's been good fun. A lot of hard work this one. A lot of video editing. I don't know how long it's going to be. Probably about an hour. Hope you stuck with it. Okay, until the next one, take care.